Il Corsaro, libretto by Francesco Maria Piave. First performance on the 25th of October 1848 at the Teatro Grande, Trieste. Verdi wrote to the librettist Piave, who wanted his libretto back after the contract to perform the opera at Her Majesty's Theatre in London came to nothing. What? You're going mad! Give you back Il Corsaro? That Corsaro which has always fascinated me, and which I've thought about so much, and which you've put into verse with more than your usual care? And I've been composing this Corsaro almost without noticing. I've already sketched out a few of the things I found most congenial. And you want me to give it up? Go on, go to the hospital and get your head examined. The Corsairs' Island in the Aegean, the beginning of the 19th century. Corsaro, captain of the pirates, recalls years gone by with nostalgia, a time when he was not yet an outlaw. But there is no time for memories. The Corsairs must prepare to fight against the attack of the Turks. In her apartments, Medora waits for her betrothed, Corrado, to return. Accompanied by the harp, she sings a sad romanza, calling for her beloved. Corrado arrives to bid a brief but intense farewell before leaving for battle. Medora fears that she will not be able to bear being separated from her beloved yet again. In Said's harem, Gulnara, the Pasha's favourite slave, is invited to the banquet that Said is organising to celebrate their coming victory over the Corsairs. But Gulnara despises the Pasha and longs for freedom. On the banks of the port of Coron, Said and his men are feasting and singing Allah's praises. Corrado, pretending to be a prisoner who has escaped the Corsairs, goes to the banquet. All of a sudden, a flash of bright light creates confusion. The Turkish fleet is on fire. Corrado reveals his true identity. The pirates enter and a battle commences. But the Turks get the better of them. Corrado stops fighting to save the women from the harem, and so he is taken prisoner, as Gulnara and the Odalisques beg for pity to be taken on the Corsair. Said is jealous of Corrado. He is convinced that Gulnara is in love with him. The Pasha warns the girl that if she loves Corrado, she will no longer be his favourite slave, and she will share the same terrible fate as the Corsair. Gulnara vows to seek revenge. Corrado is held prisoner in the tower, but Gulnara, after having killed Said, frees him and they escape together. On the island of the Corsairs, Medora, convinced that she will never see Corrado again, has poisoned herself. When Corrado comes ashore, he can do nothing but watch his beloved die before his eyes. In despair, Corrado throws himself from a cliff into the sea. In 1845, Verdi signed a contract with the impresario Francesco Lucca for an opera destined for Her Majesty's Theatre in London. The opera that Verdi would have liked to stage was King Lear, but though he considered it many times, he never put the subject to music. But the selection of a romantic hero, penned by the most fashionable English writer in Milanese salons of the mid-19th century, became an essential element for Verdi in his contract with Lucca. And so the attentions of the composer turned to Byron and his Il Corsaro. Following the international success he had enjoyed with his previous two operas, I Masnadieri and Gerusalemme, the French reworking of I Lombardi alla prima crociata, Verdi felt he was ready for the challenge of the melodic and harmonic restlessness that Byron's characters required. However, Piave's libretto did not entirely satisfy the composer, and the project was put aside. The London opportunity was missed, and so Lucca decided to stage Il Corsaro at the Teatro Grande in Trieste. But the premiere, which Verdi showed complete disinterest in, had to wait until the autumn of the politically turbulent 1848. After the 5 days of Milan, the Battle of Custoza, the retreat of the Piemontese army, and the restoration of Austrian rule of the Kingdom of Lombardy-Venetia. In the classification of Verdi's most performed operas in the world, Il Corsaro comes in 24th place. In the classification of the most performed operas in the world, Il Corsaro comes in 500th place.